I'm going to talk about the Heart Sutra, which is my favorite sutra, because you never quite figure it out. It's very short, which is good, because many of the Prajnaparamita sutras are very long. So if you're a Mahayana and you're going to study sutras, this is the best one, because you can read it in about 2 minutes. But what's in it is very confusing, doesn't make a lot of sense, like no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, or mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or dharmas. And it's also very upsetting, because it says no suffering, origination, extinction, or path, no wisdom and no attainment, with nothing to attain. Well, that just negated the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Noble Path, and basically the point of this sutra, which is the Heart Sutra of Prajnaparamita, which is the perfection of wisdom. So you've got to spend some time with it. When I was in college, I decided I would take a philosophy course. And the first lecture was about a table. And was this a table? And what made it a table? And I kept looking at it and said, that's a table. Nothing but a table. So after class I went and dropped the course, and now 50 years later I find myself asking the same question. What is a table? All of this is part of the Prajnaparamita Sutras, which is the second turning of the Dharma wheel. The Buddha revealed these texts at Vulture Peak before an assembly of bodhisattvas and arhats, and the response was kind of mixed. Some people rejoiced, some people got physically sick, some had a heart attack and died. Because either it explained everything or it negated everything. And so the Buddha gave them to the Nagas, who were to keep them hidden until mankind was ready for them. Now, Nagas are serpent-like dragons, or dragons without feet. And if you watch Game of Thrones, we all like the dragons. It's the best part. But and we use the dragons in a lot of iconography. But to say that the Nagas brought them up when mankind was ready, sometime between 100 BC and 500 AD, you have to keep away from the Book of Mormon. So these texts were developed. An earliest translation is at 350 AD. They're part of the Mahayana tradition, and Nagarjuna is probably the most potent voice in Mahayana, the Madhyamaka school. And the Heart Sutra contains the basics of his philosophy, which is one, emptiness, shunyata, that there is no thing, that everything depends on something else in order to be. And there are two truths. Now, there are two equal truths. not like alternative facts. There is conventional truth and ultimate truth. And as you get through the road, this is empty, this is empty, this is empty, the emptiness of emptiness joins the two truths to one. So it's a journey that's worth the effort, because it explains us, explains our existence. And that's kind of important to know. I was telling Reverend Kusala, I ran across this thing. There's the theory of relativity, and there's quantum theory. And Einstein spent his life trying to get these to work together and didn't succeed. And in the 1990s, somebody came up with a wild idea, but as it's been explored, it makes sense of the universe. And what it is that the universe is a hologram. That yes, everything is an illusion. There is no thing. It is a projection from a two-dimensional sphere. And you think about the phrase in the Diamond Sutra, which I actually copied and look at every day. Thus shall you think of all this fleeting world. A star at dawn, a bubble in a stream, a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, a flickering candle, and a dream. And that's very poetic and very nice, but it's the same thing as saying the universe is a hologram. And you can take that as either terrifying or comforting, because now you're released. You don't need to cling to things to make a definition of yourself. Everything you cling to isn't a thing. It's caused by something. It doesn't exist independently. All your thoughts, consciousness, sensation, perception, volition, and consciousness. There is a sensation that you perceive, but it goes through a step before it hits your consciousness, and that's volition. And that's like a computer program that goes through everything and determines, oh, well, that's what this is. And that's what you perceive it as in your consciousness. But there's that intermediate step which has gone through and assigned something to it. You've not experienced what it really is. So the Heart Sutra has two voices in it. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, who's the Bodhisattva of compassion, speaking to Shariputra, who's one of the two main disciples of the Buddha. He's the one that keeps the Dharma. And so a voice of compassion is speaking to the keeper of the Dharma to say that everything that you thought doesn't exist. And he does it in compassion, because how do you get through this world? You get through the world by accepting conventional reality. But if you're looking for nirvana, you can't just stay there. You have to consider the ultimate reality. So it goes through that emptiness has no form, and no sensation, perception, volition, or consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, or mind. No realm of sight till we come to no realm of consciousness. No ignorance and no ending of ignorance till we come to no old age and death. What we go through, what we experience, is conditional. And the Heart Sutra is kind of like an executive summary. It's like a memo. The longer Heart Sutra is, I think, 100,000 lines. And what it does is go through and says no to everything. And what your job is to find the things that you hold, either out of fear, out of love, whatever, and say no to it. You can say that there is no fear, no depression, whatever. And contemplate that. It's like a whole boatload of koans to think about it, to come to the realization. For instance, like depression. Depression's not a thing. It's a feeling you have, but you can't find out what it is. You have to see what maybe is causing it, what's bringing you to it, and maybe finding release from that. I know a woman who's 80 years old. She's had a very successful career. She has a lot of friends. She is utterly depressed because her mother, when she was 4 and 5 and 6, said, "You're worthless." And that she has never been able to release herself from. That is the cause of her depression, and she still can't let it go. So we cling to things, even things that are toxic, because if you let go, suddenly you have no definition. You're groundless. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just be there, be here now. Pema Chodron wrote, "When things fall apart," or "Start from where you are." And it's basically stop trying to find the definition that makes sense to you, that makes you feel in control. Because you're not. And you never can be in control. You can only take it one moment at a time. There's a book called The Artist's Way. And it's written by this woman who suffered a divorce, lost everything. And what she found to get through the day is that I just need to get to that post. I need to get to the next post. And she put her life back together by thinking about it and realizing that it was not real, that she still was herself. But there is no self. You make your definition to get through life, but that's just a stopgap. Because ultimately we are all practicing on how to let go and to just experience what is. and enjoy it. To cling to something, to cling to our ego, to cling to our preconceived notions of ourselves or of the world, makes that world something that it isn't necessarily real. It could be different. So, at the end of bless you. At the end of the sutra, there is gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gone, gone, gone beyond, gone far beyond enlightenment hail. But there's also another translation which is gone, gone, gone to the other shore, attained the other shore, having never left. And I think that's what I'll hold on to. I want to experience this world as it is, but I have to get over all my preconceived notions. Let them go and then see what it is, because there are two truths, conventional and ultimate, and there is emptiness, and everything is empty, including emptiness. Emptiness can't exist without emptiness, and so it comes back to one. Thank you. Questions?
Comments?
Comments?
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
And you